Hello everybody, this is John Kilgore coming today with a review of X-Men The Last Stand, which is the third and last installment of the original X-Men trilogy, if you can say so, because we are kind of getting a rebooted trilogy also, with the First Class, Days of Future Past, and also Apocalypse who is coming. But I would say that this is the ending of a trilogy. So the X-Men The Last Stand is a very, I wouldn't even say divisive or polarizing movie. It's a movie that most people are disappointed with. Some people hate it, some people still think it's good, but are overall disappointing and underwhelming entry in the X-Men franchise. The plot of X-Men The Last Stand is such as there has been a cure, or they call it a cure, that has been invented that can make mutants go back to being normal human beings. And of course this starts a clash in the mutant community, because some people of course wants to get rid of the powers, like Rogue. Her power is that she can't touch anybody, she can't hug or kiss, and she's in a relationship with a guy she loves, and she has very hard time with her powers, so of course for her the cure seems like a good thing. But other mutants are just feeling kind of stomped on by just the idea of having a cure for something they don't see um, as a disease. I'm gonna say this: there are some really good things with this movie. Actually, I would even say that some things are really good in this movie. But overall, it definitely falls short of what it could have been and its potential. And it's overall is a movie that feels rushed, very rushed and heavily edited. There could definitely have been 25 to 30 more minutes in this movie easily, because this is supposed to be the ending of a trilogy, and the movie's like 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's just as long as the first X-Men movie, but the scale of the concept in this movie and overall the conflicts and characters, it's like 3 times bigger. And that's the biggest problem with this movie. It doesn't realize that it needs more time and it needs more development. But there are some things I like. The first scenes at the Mutant Academy, we really see how characters have evolved and how they have come to be after the events of the previous 2 films, and definitely X-Men 2. And I really like that, seeing how the characters have changed a little bit, but they're still the same characters, just that they have been under development and they have actually going through a change, and I really like that. Overall, also, I had to praise the concept. I think it is an interesting concept. Like I said, it splits the mutant community, and overall, it's an interesting, kind of thought-provoking concept. There is one scene between Wolverine and Rogue, and their relationship is actually great in this trilogy, I must say, because they're working as brothers and sisters. They met each other in the first movie, and then they have kind of had this non-sexualizing relationship. They're just talking, and they're standing there talking, and Rogue is supposed, and she's talking about and thinking about taking the cure, and Wolverine is like, I hope you're not doing this for a boy. And she says, well, aren't you gonna stop me? And he says, I'm not your father, I am your friend. And I think that it's a very good relationship they have built up with Wolverine and Rogue. I really like that. I mean, having some more friendly relationship in this movie, except for just having this kind of love blah 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 that we have had between Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, which I think, I don't know, I just don't enjoy it that much, actually, I must say. Another thing, Beast in this movie is played by Kelsey Grammer, which is fucking cute. I don't know, he just looks so cozy, and I mean, he looks like a blue hairy Hulk. I mean, what's wrong with that? And also, he's kind of badass when he's in action, so to say, so I like him. And overall, the battles at Alcatraz in the ending, and the most of the action sequence in this movie are actually really good. They're kind of short, not as outdrawn and epic maybe as X-Men 2, but still very entertaining to watch. So I gotta give them props for that. And I would say that is where my positive ends with this movie. Negatives. Number 1, Mystique is wasted. I know some people are kind of getting tired of her in the new movies, but oh my god, was she wasted in this movie. She's in the first act for about 10 to 15 minutes, does one thing, and then she gets thrown away totally. Or she has like one scene of 10 seconds where she doesn't even say anything, and I'm just like, wow, did they shit the bed with that one? I mean, why? And overall, how this movie handles its characters is, it's kind of bad, I have to say. Some of the characters just get thrown away like they were rag dolls, just like, whoop, now you go there, you go there, this is gonna happen to you, and it kind of sucks. Not necessarily what they're doing with the characters, but how they're doing it. Like why? It feels so rushed and lazy, and that is one thing where this movie falls on potential. Some things that happen in this movie could still have been in the movie, but you need more development, you need more time to create those emotional bonds that you're trying to do with those scenes. I also think there's an unnecessary triangle drama between Iceman or Bobby, Rogue, and a new girl called Kitty. You know, she can kind of walk through walls and stuff. Uh, I mean, I don't see why it needs to be there. We already had one with Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean. Do we need another one? And it's like, it's coming out of nowhere, and it takes time in a movie that already is too short. I just like, why? Very, very unneeded. I also think characters going back and forth from the Mutant Academy to being out in battle to Washington to the Alcatraz, they're just bouncing back and forth like balls. I mean, under a 10-minute period, Wolverine has been in 3 different places. It's like, what? Why you're doing this? It's kind of weird. And I also think this is the only movie in the X-Men franchise where I don't really connect with Magneto. I think Magneto overall is a great villain, one of the best superhero villains by far. However, in this movie, I just don't care. He's just so... Because what I like about Magneto is that we have sympathy for him, because even though he has a very strong agenda that most people wouldn't agree with, he still always had that side to him where the humanity to him. I mean, no pun intended because he's a mutant, but he had feelings and emotions and he cared for people around him. In these surroundings, he just no. I mean, they try to make him care, but then it's like a 2-second lines where he says something very dumb and you're like, that was not good. And I think it's sad that they make Magneto so in this movie, because overall he was great as a character in X-Men 1 and 2, one of the most interesting characters together with Wolverine and Professor Xavier, I would say. In this movie, he just feels dumb, and you just want to point the finger at him. My final words on X-Men The Last Stand is going to be: the movie has its moments and thrills, but ultimately does not live up to its predecessors and falls short on its potential of being a great closure to its trilogy. I'm gonna score X-Men The Last Stand a 5 out of 10. It's not a bad, horrible piece of trash movie like, for say, X-Men Origins Wolverine. But I definitely see why some people hate it. It's a very disappointing entry to what could have been a great trilogy. And unfortunately, the X-Men trilogy, the original X-Men trilogy, is kind of looked down a bit when we're talking about comic book movies in general because of The Last Stand. Everybody thinks X-Men 1 is good. Most people think X-Men 2 is great, and then we have X-Men The Last Stand, which is like underwhelming and lukewarm, because it is. My name is Uncle Gurga. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that if you enjoy my content. Leave a nice or a mean comment if you feel to. Why can't I talk English? Like, honestly. Goodbye.